Liam Carter walked alone through the silent ruins. The sky above him was a faded orange as the twin suns began to set behind the jagged mountains. Dust and ash blew around his boots with every step. He wore a simple brown cloak over his dusty gray suit, and on his back was a metal pack filled with tools and small pieces of salvage. He had spent the entire day searching this battlefield, hoping to find something he could sell for food or water. So far, he had found only twisted metal, pieces, and broken circuit boards. He moved carefully over the cracked ground, stepping around blackened skeletons of alien war machines. Their rusted cannons pointed at nothing now. Burnt-out wrecks lay half-buried in sand and dirt. Long ago, this place was the site of a great battle between the Aurelian Empire and the rebel colonies. Now, it was forgotten by almost everyone, except scavengers like Liam. He paused for a moment, wiping sweat from his forehead. His short black hair was dusty, and his blue eyes looked tired. He opened a small metal bottle and drank the last sip of water he had left. As he capped it, he heard a faint sound behind a fallen piece of dark alloy plating. It was almost like a whisper or a faint groan. Liam froze. He listened again. There it was, a weak noise, hidden under metal and dirt. His heart started to beat faster. It could be a wild animal, or it could be something valuable. Carefully, he placed his pack on the ground and pulled out his sensor scanner. The small device flickered with a dim green light as he moved it around the metal sheet. A faint life signature appeared on the screen. It was weak, but alive. Taking a deep breath, Liam set the scanner aside, grabbed a rusted metal rod nearby, and wedged it under the heavy debris. His arms strained as he pushed down with all his strength. The metal sheet shifted with a sharp screech. Dust rose into the air, making him cough. He tried again, this time using all his weight. Slowly the piece lifted just enough to reveal what was beneath. His eyes widened in shock. Lying there was a woman in dark silver armor. Her suit was scratched and burned, and a large crack ran along her chest plate. Glowing blue liquid leaked from the broken part. Her helmet visor was shattered, and her face was partly visible through the... Liam stared at the woman lying under the metal debris. Her armor looked advanced, with glowing lines running along her arms and chest. The broken part of her chest plate revealed pale skin with strange markings, like glowing tattoos. Her breathing was slow and shallow, and her eyes were closed. Dust and dirt covered her silver armor, and dark ash had stuck to her face. For a moment, Liam stood frozen. He had never seen armor like this up close. Only the Empire's strongest warriors wore such heavy suits. He knew he should walk away. If she woke up angry, she could kill him easily. But he also knew if he left her there, she would die. He took a deep breath. Come on, Liam, you can't just leave her here. He placed his hands under her shoulders and lifted her gently out from under the metal sheet. Her body felt heavy, the armor adding weight to her small frame. As he pulled her free, the cracked chest plate sparked with blue light, making Liam flinch. But it went dark again quickly. Carefully, he laid her on a clear spot of ground away from the sharp debris. Her head rolled to the side, and her eyelids twitched. Liam noticed blood running down from a cut on her temple. He ripped a strip from his cloak and pressed it against the wound to stop the bleeding. Slowly, her eyes fluttered open. They glowed softly with a silver blue light. She blinked at him, confused and dazed. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the quiet wind blowing dust across the battlefield. "Don't move," Liam said quietly. "You're hurt." Her lips moved slightly. Her voice was weak and dry. Who are you?" "My name is Liam Carter," he replied, trying to keep his voice calm. "I'm just a scavenger. I found you under that metal sheet. You were trapped." She tried to sit up, but her body shook with pain and she fell back with a small cry. Liam quickly placed a hand on her armored shoulder to steady her. "Don't move too much," he said. "You're injured. Let me help." She looked at him with tired eyes. Her gaze moved to his hand on her shoulder. She didn't push him away. Instead, her eyes closed again, and she took a shallow breath. "Water. Please." Liam pulled out his empty bottle and sighed. He reached into his pack, searching desperately. At the bottom, he found a small, sealed water packet he had kept for emergencies. He tore it open and lifted it to her lips. She drank slowly, coughing a little as the water touched her dry throat. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice fading. Again, he looked around the battlefield. Night was coming fast, and the temperature would drop soon. Liam knew he had to find shelter before darkness. He carefully lifted her arm and checked for injuries. Her left arm was bent at a strange angle. It was broken. "This will hurt," he said softly. She didn't reply, only clenched her teeth as Liam straightened her arm and tied it tightly against a piece of metal to keep it still. Her breathing became fast with pain, but she didn't scream. He was impressed by her strength. When he finished, he pulled out a small heat blanket from his pack and wrapped it around her. He set up a tiny portable light nearby, casting a soft glow around them. Then he sat beside her, staring into the silent darkness that surrounded the battlefield. After a few minutes, her eyes opened again. She turned her head weakly towards him. "Why? Why did you help me?" she asked in a broken voice. Liam shrugged. "I couldn't leave you there to die." She looked at him silently. A faint light flickered in her eyes, almost like sadness mixed with surprise. "Most would have left me, or killed me, for my armor." "I'm not most people," Liam replied simply. For a while, neither of them spoke. The cold wind blew across the dead land, rustling Liam's cloak and her torn cape. The stars above them began to shine brightly in the darkening sky. Finally she whispered, "My name is Saphira." He nodded. "Rest, Saphira. I'll keep watch tonight." Eyes closed, and her breathing slowed as she fell into a deep, exhausted sleep. Liam pulled his cloak tighter around his shoulders, feeling the cold settle in. He stared at the stars above, wondering who she really was. The glowing markings on her neck, the advanced armor, and her calm strength told him she was someone important. But important to who? As the night grew darker and colder, Liam kept watch beside her, gripping his small knife in his hand. He knew that by helping her, he had stepped into a world far bigger and more dangerous than he could ever imagine. Still, deep in his heart, he felt no regret. Even if tomorrow brought danger, tonight he had saved a life, and that was enough for him. Liam woke at dawn to the sound of engines. The sky was still gray with early morning mist. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked around, confused. The engines grew louder, echoing across the silent battlefield ruins. Beside him, Saphira stirred, her eyes opening weakly. She looked up at the sky and her face tensed with worry. "What is that?" Liam asked quickly. "Guards." "Mine," she whispered. Through the mist, dark shapes appeared. Sleek black transports hovered above the ground, their landing jets blowing dust and ash everywhere. Liam shielded his eyes as the ships landed in a half-circle around them. The hiss of hydraulic doors opening filled the air. Armored soldiers marched out in perfect lines. Their dark silver suits glowed faintly under the rising sun. Carried a large energy rifle. Their helmets were smooth, with glowing blue visors that hid their faces. The Imperial emblem shone on their chest plates, the same as Saphira's armor. Liam's heart pounded in his chest. He stood up quickly, his hands raised to show he was unarmed. The guards spread out, forming a protective circle around Saphira and Liam. One of them shouted in a deep voice through his helmet speaker, "Step away from the commander." Liam froze. He felt Saphira's weak hand grip his cloak. She tried to sit up, her body shaking from pain and weakness. "Wait," she said softly, but her voice was too quiet for the guards to hear. One soldier moved forward, pointing his rifle at Liam's chest. Liam's mouth went dry. His legs felt frozen. The guard shouted again. "I said step away." But Saphira struggled to rise. Her eyes glowed brightly for a moment as she forced her body up. Liam quickly helped her, placing her arm over his shoulder to keep her from falling. The guards watched in silence as she leaned heavily against the small human scavenger. Then, something unexpected happened. The guard who had shouted dropped to one knee. Then the guard next to him did the same. In a few seconds, all the guards fell to their knees in unison. Their heads bowed deeply, rifles lowered to the ground. The entire battlefield went silent except for the hum of the transport's engines. Liam stared, confused. His eyes darted from one kneeling soldier to the next. They were silent, unmoving, as if in prayer. Beside him, Scifi stood unsteady but proud. Her glowing eyes looked down at them with quiet strength. "Commander Scifi." "Bellerin," one guard said in a respectful voice, his head still bowed. "We are here to take you home." Scifi took a slow breath, her body. Scifi stood weakly beside Liam. Her broken arm was still tied with his cloth bandage. Her chest plate was cracked, showing her glowing markings. The kneeling guards remained silent, waiting for her command. For a moment, she closed her eyes. Gathering her strength, then she spoke in a soft but strong voice. "Rise," she said. All the guards stood up at once, moving with trained precision. Their rifles stayed pointed down, their heads slightly bowed in respect. One guard stepped forward. His armor was thicker than the others, and his helmet had a gold stripe running down the side. Must have been their leader. "Commander," he said, "we received your distress beacon yesterday. We came as fast as we could. Are you injured?" "Badly?" Scifi nodded slowly. "My arm is broken. My chest plate is damaged. But I am alive thanks to him." She turned her glowing eyes towards Liam. The guard leader followed her gaze. His visor flickered as it scanned Liam from head to toe. Liam shifted uncomfortably under the silent stare of the armored soldiers. "Who is this human commander?" the guard asked with suspicion in his voice. "He is the one who saved me," Scifi replied. "He found me under debris, gave me water, and tended my wounds." The guards looked at each other silently. Their body language showed confusion. To them, a simple scavenger was worthless. But Scifi continued speaking. "He showed kindness when he could have stolen my armor or left me to die. For this, he has my gratitude." Liam felt heat rise in his cheeks. He wasn't used to praise, especially from someone like her. The guard leader shifted his rifle slightly. "Commander, we must return you to the flagship immediately."
Medical.
"This human, he cannot come with us." Scifi narrowed her eyes. "He is under my protection." The guards fell silent again. The leader hesitated. "Commander, with respect, he is just a scavenger. He has seen too much. He could share Imperial secrets." Scifi's voice turned cold. "Do you question my command?" "No, Commander," the guard said quickly, bowing his head. "Your will shall be done?" Scifi looked at Liam, who was still holding her arm gently to keep her standing. For a moment, their eyes met. She saw the fear and confusion in his blue eyes, but also the quiet courage he'd carried within him. No one had ever touched her so gently before, not even her own guards. She whispered, "You have a good heart, Liam Carter." He opened his mouth to reply, but words failed him. Simply nodded, feeling her weight leaning against him. Two medics came forward from the transport, carrying a floating stretcher between them. They placed it beside her and carefully lifted her onto it. Winced in pain, but made no sound, as they strapped her down safely. She reached out her uninjured hand and grabbed Liam's wrist. Scifi's hand gripped Liam's wrist with surprising strength. Her glowing eyes looked straight into his, filled with something he did not fully understand: respect, sadness, and a quiet promise. "Don't let go," she whispered softly. He felt her words like a spark inside his chest. But before he could reply, the medics gently pulled her hand away and secured her onto the floating stretcher. The small anti-gravity field hummed as it lifted her body slightly above the ground. The guard leader turned to Liam, his helmet visor glowing with cold blue light. "Step back, human. The commander must be taken to the flagship." Liam swallowed hard, feeling a lump in his throat. Part of him wanted to run away from these armored soldiers and their giant transport ships. But another part of him wanted to stay near Saphira. She was the first person in years who looked at him not as a worthless scavenger, but as someone who mattered. "Wait," Saphira said firmly, her voice stronger now. The guards froze in place. The medics paused, waiting for her next words. Saphira lifted her head slightly and looked at her guard leader. "He comes with us, Commander." The guard began to protest, but she silenced him with a sharp glare. "He saved my life," she said. "I owe him a debt. He will come as my honored guest." The guards glanced at each other in confusion. No outsider scavenger had ever been called an honored guest of an Imperial commander before. It was against their rules. But none dared to argue further. "As you command," the guard leader replied. One of the guards grabbed Liam roughly by the arm. "Move," he said. Liam felt fear rising in his chest, but he followed them without resisting. They guided him towards one of the smaller transports. Its door opened with a hiss, revealing a clean interior lined with dark seats and glowing blue panels. Before he stepped inside, Liam turned to look back at Saphira. The medics were guiding her stretcher into a larger medical transport. For a moment, her silver blue eyes met his again. Even through her cracked helmet, he saw gratitude and silent strength. Then the doors closed, separating them. Inside the transport, Liam sat quietly on the cold metal seat. Two guards sat across from him, their rifles resting between their knees. The hum of the engines grew louder as the ship lifted off the dusty ground. Through the small window, he saw the battlefield grow smaller and smaller, until it was just a gray mark on the endless desert below. He leaned his head back against the seat, trying to calm his racing heart. Life had changed in just a day. Yesterday he was just a scavenger, searching for broken wires and old metal scraps to buy food. Today he was inside an Imperial transport ship, flying towards a place he never thought. Liam sat quietly in the transport ship as it flew smoothly through the dark sky. The hum of its engines was steady, and the blue lights inside glowed softly. He looked out of the small window beside him. Stars stretched across the endless black, shining like cold silver dust. He wondered if his life would ever be the same again. The guards sitting across from him remained silent. Their helmets hid their faces, and their weapons rested against their armor. Liam felt their cold gaze even, though he could not see their eyes. He sat with his hands folded tightly in his lap, trying to hide his nervousness. After what felt like hours, the transport ship began to slow down. Through the window, Liam saw something that took his breath away. Floating above a blue and green planet was a giant Imperial flagship. It was shaped like a blade, long and dark, with glowing lines running along its hull. Smaller ships flew around it like bees near a hive. The transport approached the flagship and entered a large docking bay. Bright white lights filled the bay, and armored engineers moved quickly, guiding ships into place. The guards stood up and ordered Liam to follow them. His legs felt weak as he stepped out of the transport and onto the cold metal floor of the Imperial ship. They walked through long halls lined with dark panels and glowing symbols. Soldiers and officers moved out of their way, bowing slightly when they saw the guards. Liam felt out of place among them, his simple scavenger clothes dusty and torn. He lowered his eyes, feeling small under their cold, perfect order. Finally, they reached a wide medical room. The air smelled clean and sharp, like metal and medicine. Machines hummed softly along the walls. In the center of the room lay Saphira. Her armor had been removed, and she wore a simple dark suit with glowing silver lines along the arms. Her broken arm was wrapped in strong healing bands, and her chest was covered with a glowing medical patch. She looked tired, but her eyes opened when Liam entered. The guard stepped back and bowed deeply before her. Liam stood awkwardly, not sure what to do. Saphira raised her hand slightly. "Come here, Liam," she said softly. He walked forward, his heart beating fast. As he reached her bedside, she gave him a small smile. Even without her armor, she looked strong and proud. "You saved my life," she said. "I owe you a debt that cannot be repaid easily." Liam shook his head quickly. "I only did what anyone should do." "No," she replied. "Many would have left me there." Many would have stolen my armor and left me to die, but you did not. You gave me water. You healed my wounds. You stayed by my side. You were different." He felt his face grow warm at her. Words, no one had ever spoken to him like that before. For so long, people had treated him as worthless, just another scavenger trying to survive in the dirt. "What will happen now?" he asked quietly. Saphira looked at him with thoughtful eyes. "You have seen the Empire's secrets. The guards wanted to end your life to protect those secrets, but I have chosen a different path. You will not die today. You will not be left alone on that dead world again." He stared at her, confused. "What do you mean?" She sat up slowly, wincing as her arm moved. The medical bands glowed brighter to ease her pain. "I am offering you a place here with me. You saved me, and now I will protect you. Come as my honored guest. You will eat well, will sleep in safety, and you will see the stars, not as a scavenger, but as one who walks among the Empire." Liam's mind spun with shock. Just yesterday, he was fighting rats for scraps of food. Today, an Imperial commander offered him protection and respect. He looked down at his dirty hands, thinking about everything he had suffered to survive. "Why? Me," he whispered. "I am no one." She reached out with her uninjured hand and gently touched his arm. "You are someone to me." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The medical machines hummed softly around them, and the lights above glowed warm and white. Liam felt something inside his chest shift, like a heavy stone lifting away. "Whoa." A deep breath. Then, "I will stay," he said, his voice quiet but firm. Saphira nodded with approval. "Good. Rest tonight. Tomorrow, your new path will begin." He nodded, feeling a strange peace inside him. The guards stepped forward and guided him out of the medical room. They took him down long, silent halls to a small guest cabin. It was simple but clean, with a soft bed and a warm light. Liam sat on the bed, touching the clean sheets with his rough fingers. Tears burned in his eyes, but he wiped them away quickly. For the first time in years, he felt safe. As he lay down and closed his eyes, he thought of Saphira's glowing eyes and her quiet strength. He did not know what tomorrow would bring, but for now, he felt ready to face it. Somewhere deep in his heart, a small hope burned brightly. He knew that his simple act of kindness on that silent battlefield had changed his life forever. And perhaps, he thought, as he drifted to sleep, it might one day change the fate of the Empire too.